Lifting Leaders podcast, where we're unleashing leader possibilities to make a better world. I'm Trisha Ryan, and together with Crystal Roberts, we're diving deeper into some of the complexities of the world's most critical challenges and exploring innovative ways of navigating through them.
Through interviews with experts and leaders just like you, we are exploring what it takes to thrive as a leader today and examining new ways of thinking about how to creatively lead into a more equitable, socially responsible, and sustainable future. And the future starts now.
Hi, Crystal. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you, Trisha?
Oh, I am great. It is that time of year when I can't tell whether I should go in the closet and get a sweater or put on a tank top.
I think they call that fall. It's called transition.
I know. It's driving me nuts, so I don't know what to wear anymore. I don't know whether to put my socks away or bring the big ones out. I'm not sure. So anyway, but it's a great day today. I am so excited.
I'm so excited too.
It's like a double whammy for us because we are kicking off our new series on what brings us hope with one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Our favorite people.
Yes, ma'am. She's a true repeat Lifting Leaders podcaster, and that is Carla Ondrasik.
Yay, welcome, Carla.
Yeah, tell us about our
series. This series, which we're calling What Brings Us Hope, and is the beginning here of our season 5, is about really looking at where we put our attention, because we know that really matters. And when we shift our focus from what's broken to what's working, something really powerful happens. And we really start to think bigger. We see new possibilities. We get more creative and innovative. But we know that shift takes effort, and it takes intention and attention. And it always starts with hope. Hope is the spark for creativity. It's the root of innovation. And right now, in a world that feels so divided and really chaotic, with progress on belonging and inclusion unraveling, science and healthcare under attack, and our planet crying out for healing, we need hope more than ever. So we went looking for it, and we found it. And in this series, we're going to hear from 5 incredible people, and one of them is Carla, who's with us today, and she's kicking off our series. No better person to do that. But we're going to hear from scientists and artists and dreamers who refuse to give up, and they are leaning in, and they're finding new ways forward. So their stories lit us up, and we believe they'll do the same for you.
So I'm really excited that we have Carla here for our very first session because, she's talking about not trying. And that is so much what we're talking about with hope. So for those who are new listeners, let me share a little about Carla. Carla Ondrasik has been inspiring audiences from business leaders to students with her no-try philosophy for 2 decades. She speaks regularly to business organizations, women's leadership groups, and college preparatory schools through motivational meetings, one-on-one mentoring, and magazine writing. Carla is the former vice president of creative writer development for EMI Music when it was the largest music publisher in the world. She's credited with the sales of millions of records worldwide. During her 20-year career, she placed hit music with legends including, and blows my mind, Barbra Streisand, Johnny Mathis, Cher, Huey Lewis, Martina McBride, Earth, Wind and Fire, Mariah Carey, NSYNC, and Christina Aguilera. Carla continues to mentor and promote the current generation of music makers. Carla attended University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and resides in Southern California with her husband, music artist, a true GOAT musician on my part, I think, John Ondrasik, who she discovered, signed, and developed under the moniker 5 for Fighting. She has 2 adult children and is an avid swimmer. I hope you have a pool. Yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah.
On a personal note, I am a true fan of Carla's. I believe we share a superpower, which is connection. I started following her on social media after seeing her post and put a like on her husband's reel. And when I saw that her address was attached to that, I thought, I'm going to reach out and get to know this woman, this wife of my favorite musician. During the past nearly 2 years, I have been inspired by her Woman on the Street reels and short interviews with passers-by as she was writing her book. It was as though each individual was a personal friend, and to me that means so much. That makes you that connector, right? From my personal experience, I have felt that way as well. So welcome, Carla. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for those beautiful words. I've got to get back to the Woman on the Street interviews because I love doing them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were so effective. I mean, I was getting to the point where I had to check every day to see when your next one came out. It was very good.
All right, I'm going to do them for you. I'm going
Thank
to
you.
start this.
Thank you. I will know that, and I'll tell everybody. So congratulations. You're literally minutes, probably not even minutes now, because we're going to post this shortly, and you're just seconds away from launching your new book called Stop Trying. And I'm not going to go into the tagline underneath it. I'll let you talk about that, but we're going to shake it up with our first question. Instead of asking you to tell us your story, which is what we always have done, I think what we want to know is what to you feels important to bring to our listeners today.
Just in general, like not about, the topic of what we're going to talk about, but, you alluded to it earlier in the introduction about, that the world right now is just kind of a crazy mixed up place. And, of course, my number one thing is to be kind to each other. Mm-hmm. Like being kind is not overrated. It's a tool, it's a choice, it's very powerful. But even more than that is to be kind to ourselves. Like we're feeling afraid, we're feeling insecure, we're questioning things. And I just feel like all the stress and the heaviness, if we can just be kind to ourselves and take the time we need, ask the questions that we need to ask, and do research, become aware and educated, because that's powerful. That's going to help us to be out in the world and deal with everything. So I'd say my thing I would want everyone to really think about today is just to be so kind to yourself. We're all facing a magnitude of things we never thought we would. And I think we have to be kind to ourselves first.
It's so true. I think we are our own worst critics. We don't mind reaching out to other people and trying to extend ourselves to other people often. But when it comes to ourselves, it's a little harder. And I've heard people say, well, that's just not humble. And I don't feel that that's so bad. I think that we should be good to ourselves, give ourselves some grace once in a while, because we make mistakes too. But I think it's okay for us to acknowledge that and then be okay with it. So I am so, Crystal and I spent the first part of our year kind of talking about, in our last season, about all the craziness that's going on. And, we're not a political podcast, but we found it almost impossible to stay away from that for a while. So it's, we're just now getting to the point where that's one reason we're doing this series, right? So we're getting to the point where we're looking for ways to make it better, no matter what.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So in a recent social media reel, you mentioned that you've been writing this book in your head and throughout journaling for years. I thought that was really interesting. So what surprised you most during this journey? And has anything challenged your own philosophy of trying less?
Okay, so the journey, I think what surprised me the most is because I have been working on this for 20 years. I mean, it has taken different shapes and forms. I used to think that I had a magic book, and I used to think it was the power of writing our intentions down. And that's what made it, come true. That's why I called it my magic book, because everything I wrote in there almost everything would come true. But I realized it was the words we used, which evolved into the one word of not trying. So it was an evolution. And I think the most surprising thing is that how quickly the universe worked to launch this into book form when it was the time, when it was ready, is amazing. Because it was, here's an idea, here's the thoughts, you just keep chugging at it and working on it. But then when the time is right, boom, you have to be ready for your moment. So that surprised me. I was like, okay, here we go. I guess it's go time, I still get goosebumps when I think about that. And so yeah, that was surprising. And then the second part of the question was, has anything surprised me, right? I am shocked at how much scientific information there is to back up this no try philosophy. I mean, the more I'm talking about it and writing papers and articles and stuff, and I'm just listening to people and just as a natural course of who I am, I'm always researching, what does it mean not to try? I'm finding the most incredible things, which I'm going to share with you in this podcast. But that was so surprising that there's scientific research, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
It is, it is interesting because I looked up trying, and I just thought I just have to see if there's anything else out there, because I think the last time we talked to you, you said there's really, I don't know of any other book out there on trying. And I wasn't trying to dispel what you said. I was just trying to find out what in the world is there on trying. And I did find a ton of papers. I mean, page upon page upon page of like college research and scientific research. I'm thinking, wow, this is much larger than I thought it was, but it tips right back into neuroscience, which we both love. So, it's amazing. So
Yep.
What do you hope readers will feel or do differently after finishing Stop Trying? And is there some mindset shift or habit that you're especially excited about?
Okay, so I wrote the book so that, you can open it up on a flight from, say, LA to New York or New York to LA, and you're done with it by the time the flight's over. And I want that person to get off that plane going, I am never going to try again in my life. I'm actually going to, before I leave the airport, make a phone call to that person I've been trying to reach for the last 6 months, or make that apology that I've been, trying to build up the courage to do, like to immediately start doing the things that they've been trying to do. Right. I'm going to book that trip for my family. So that, and I would love people to just be so much braver and more excited and less afraid of failure, just to have that attitude of, I'm gonna go into the deep end. I don't care what happens, the outcome doesn't matter. I'm never going to know unless I try, and they're going to have fewer regrets. Like that's how I want them to feel when they close my book. Like I'm going to start living and doing, and I'm just going to stop all this trying.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's not just doing tasks. I think when people think of it, trying and doing, it's tasks, right? But it isn't. It is like starting to live. It is something that people may not have ever thought about before, may not have thought they weren't living, but they were just sort of existing or going along in a cycle, this endless cycle of trying, and maybe not getting very far, and they think that's life. So this gives them an opportunity to see so much bigger and better than they do now, right?
Absolutely. And, when you do that, when you read the book and then you adopt that mindset, you break free from a lot of anxiety and exhaustion. Like trying is exhausting. It really is. So here's a little piece of scientific information that I found out, some real neuroscience, you could call it. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it though.
Okay. So for all these people that are, making lists, they're the list makers of all the things we're gonna do. The to-do list is really the stuff I'm gonna try to get around to doing. And that list just stays there. You're lucky if you cross one thing off. Okay. So what the brain does, it takes all the things on your list that you're going to try to get done, and it stores them as an open loop in your brain. This really happens. It's an open loop. Mm-hmm. And all the brain wants to do is direct energy toward that loop to close it. It just wants to close it. And it's almost like, imagine you have every light on in your house, every TV is going, the AC or the heater's blasting, and nobody's home. All this energy is going to those places and nothing's happening. Okay? So the minute you cross off one thing on your to-do list, you close the loop. And now you have more space in your mind. You create calm and room, more bandwidth to actually have mental energy and space to do the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's why the entertainment business uses this open loop, the Zeigarnik effect, all the time. Cliffhangers. Mm-hmm. They leave an open ending.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, right?
Right.
Oh my God, I can't wait till Thursday night. I'm going to watch the final episode of blank. And you're talking to all your friends about it. Oh my God. That's the Zeigarnik effect in action. And oh my gosh, there are people walking around with all these open loops, and they are all that energy. I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at my list. I'm feeling terrible about myself. I'm exhausted. I don't even know where to begin. That is like big time.
I love that. Yeah. And what's interesting too is I'm one of those people with lots of lists. And when you are able to actually cross something off, it does feel like you get that little hit of dopamine, right? It's like, oh, I got something done. But narrowing it so you have less on the list, the one thing, what am I going to do? Gives you that focus to be able to get it done.
It's like reprogramming your neural pathways so that you're not always sending messages to the try world, right? Mm-hmm. You're actually getting it done. And in getting it done, though, that grows confidence, that grows all sorts of things. So that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. And another thing, you can actually visually like pull this up on the computer. When you say, literally, you tell yourself, I'm going to try to do 4 loads of laundry today. Okay. Your brain is, as far as lighting up, because they have visual images, where you can do that. It's on a low hum. It's like, I'm going to try to do 4 loads of laundry. It's just pulsating at a very low level because it knows the built-in expectation of failure is right there, right? You may not get it done. So it's kind of like, it goes to this place of a very low expectancy level. But when you say, I'm going home and I'm doing 4 loads of laundry before I go to bed, your brain inside, it's like, ooh, boom, bomb. And it's like, firing. She said she's going to do this. Now I have to take action. Now I'm preparing for fight or flight. Now I'm ready to go, So your brain physically responds differently to your words, what you tell it you're going to try to do or do. It's amazing.
Yeah, the language, so important. Yeah. So your book challenges the culture obsession with hustle and effort. What do you think is the emotional cost of constantly trying? How does this mindset affect our relationships, creativity, or sense of self? And I think we've started to get into that conversation, but I really love this piece about how does it affect our relationships, creativity, and sense of self?
Well, it affects our relationships, both professional and personal, with our kids, all of it. When you're a person that says, I'm going to try all the time, and you're really not doing it, you're not following through, right? You become unreliable. So people see you you lose credibility with them. The relationship becomes, there's not a lot of respect there for someone that's, we probably all know somebody that says they're just compulsive triers. They're trying to get around it. Oh, they said they would try to do this for me, but they didn't follow through. Parents teach their children that, trying is acceptable and it's okay to let people down, So in that respect, I think trying is really bad because you become an unreliable, undependable person and you don't show accountability. You're not seen as a leader. If you're in the office, your office relationships, he's going to try to get me that report. Probably not going to do it. That person's not going to get promoted. And then bigger level is, I always talk about this. If you're going to try to work on your relationship, we've talked about this in past podcasts, you're going to half-heart that effort. You're going to like maybe kind of sort of do it. What does that mean? I'm going to try to work on my relationship, or I'm going to try to spend more time with my kids. I'm trying to spend more time with my kids means this coming Friday, we're going to have game night and we're going to have no phones and we're going to spend time as a family. But what about next Friday night? And what about, all the time to come in the future? Trying is like a quick fix that you're going to half-heartedly do. So yeah, trying in any respect of relationships and stuff like that is just, it's throwing a half-hearted attempt at something. It's saying I might do it and I might not. And I just feel like there's so much collateral damage that comes.
Oh yeah, it's actually putting a wedge between you and whomever you're trying to have a relationship with, right? It's like, why would they bother to try back or do back if you're not doing forward, right? That's
you can feel the difference too when someone's doing, like when they're putting, and then they're like, wow, they're really showing me that they really care. Wow, this person's going all in. That's palpable. You can feel it, and it matters.
You should have had this book out like 35, 40 years ago when, seriously, when there were a lot more divorces, it seemed. I don't know about if that's true, but I notice in my circle, very few people get divorced anymore. They work through it. But I remember way back when, and there were kids who were waiting for their dads to pick them up on Friday to have a weekend with them, and their dad said, I'll try and get there and they wouldn't show up. And so there's a whole generation, or at least a big chunk of a generation of people who have very little faith in people to show up. And I wonder if that would be interesting to find out, pull people in those age area or in that generation. How many of them try at all now? Or how many of them just do because they lived in a world where trying didn't work?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
those dads. Yeah, thank you for saying that. And I wish I would have written it then too, because I'd be on my like 5th book by now. But those dads, when they said I'll try to be there to take you for the weekend, when you have that little gift of the word try, it comes with, excuses. I'm sorry, son or daughter, I couldn't make it. I had to, do something at work. Or blame, I'm sorry, but da 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 da. And then there's zero accountability, because when you tell your kid I'm going to try, they know it might not happen. They know they can't count on you, and the more you do it, the more they know they'll never be able to count on you. So excuses, blame, no accountability, just the main base of even saying I'm going to try to do anything, you're building in the intention and the possibility for failure. But when you say I'm doing it, I will be there, now you have accountability. Now you have a direction, and you're more apt to do whatever it is. You're not looking for failure. You're not focusing on, I'm going to try to get there, or I will be there, or two totally different statements. You're not focused on it might not happen. You're focused on I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
So you talk about the power of doing more by trying less. Can you unpack what that paradox means to everybody's life or in everyday life? And is there a story or example that illustrates that shift?
Yeah, every day there are stories.
Every moment.
Do that. Okay, doing more by trying less. So trying is a mental activity. So when you say I'm going to try to do something, you're making your list, right? That's part of trying. I'm going to write down all the things. I'm going to think about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm wondering about it. I'm worrying about it. It's a big heavy mental overload in our head, okay? So that takes energy. That saps us. It's physically exhausting. It takes a toll on our body. It's the mental, energy it takes to write down the list and think about everything and worry about it and plan for it. When will be the right time? My husband has a car that is falling apart. It's not even safe to drive anymore. He's borrowing his dad's car right now. Okay. And
Is it a
he's been,
Mustang?
no, that's in the garage. That thing
Okay.
we don't even drive. But he's been trying to get a new car for 2 years now. Okay. 2 years. I decided I wanted a new car. I went to the dealership and I got it last weekend. I'm like, I knew what I wanted. Boom, boom, boom. I got it. I'm driving it. Okay. And he's like, I can't believe you got your new car already. I'm like, well, of course I did, because I did it. So his trying mental process is, well, I'm going to think about it. And then I don't know if I want this one or this one. But then even when he knew what he wanted, I don't know. I'm going to, it was just like, he's like, oh, another day went by and I didn't do it. It's exhausting. He's thinking about all that it's going to take you have to order, it's a Tesla, to order a car, right? So that's an example of how it's exhausting to try to do something and keeps you from just doing it, right? He ordered his car last night.
Good for him. All right.
He went like this. Click, 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 click. Honey, I ordered the car. It's 2 years of him waiting and wasting. A lot of times in our head, we build it up to, that it's going to be so hard, but it usually takes half the time we think, and it's more fun than we thought that it would be. I do that to myself all the time with social media posts, right?
I'll bet he slept a lot better last night too, didn't he? He probably slept a lot better.
Oh yeah. He's so happy. He's like, the car's coming in 10 days, But that's a great example.
Yeah.
I don't know if this applies to the question or not, but here is another one. I might have told the story because I tell it a lot. It's about my friend at the park. There was a guy, I did not know him, and I'd see him walk around the park every day with these headphones on. And one day I couldn't interrupt him. And one day he had the headphone off. And I'm like, hi, I see you here all the time. I was in the music business. I'm wondering, what are you listening to? And he said, oh, I listen to all these like self-help podcasts and motivational talks. And, I have a hard time. There's so many things I'm trying to do. And I looked at him and I said, just tell me one thing that you're trying to do. And he said, I'm trying to go swim again because I know it's healthy and we have the new pool, the YMCA. So I've been trying to go swim. And all I said to him, total stranger, was, stop trying to go swim and go swim. And 24 hours later, he was at that park waiting for me, raising his hands in the air. I did it. He was screaming. I didn't try. I did it. I swam. That's a great example. He could have been trying to go swim for 6 more months. Let me listen to what other people can tell me about motivation and inspiration and how to get going, when all he had to do was stop trying, listening, writing it down, thinking about it, worrying about it, and jump in the pool.
Yes.
And go swim. And he did it. So, that's a really, really big way of how that affects us.
That's a good feel-good story too. I mean, that's, to you, it's like, look what I did. And seriously, you have to, give yourself some credit here. That guy, like you said, would have been still sitting there with the headset on. And I do remember
swimming.
That reel.
He's still swimming. Yeah.
He's still swimming. I interviewed him for the book. He quit his job. He's not trying anymore. He's in go mode. And, a lot of times we think that we need the motivation to start, right? We're waiting. That's part of the trying process. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to figure out the best time. I'm going to figure out, who, when, how. So we're waiting for the motivation to start. But it's the opposite. Just do it, and the motivation follows. If you've gone to the gym, you're never going to be motivated to like, yeehaw, I'm going to go hurt and torture myself and waste all this time. But once you start going, you're like, wow, I'm starting to see I'm toner, or I feel better. Food tastes better. I sleep better. I just feel better going there. I've met new friends there. All the motivation follows your action. And if you're trying, you're never going to get there.
I love what you just said, because we talk about motivation all the time, right? How do you motivate people to move? How do you motivate people to change, right? And it's the other way around. How do you change people to be motivated? I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
it.
It's like, that's amazing. I mean, it makes me want to it makes me want to do something a lot different at work. You know, I have a stake in our engagement at our organization, so I kind of manage the process, and it is like pulling teeth. It's like, you know, taking somebody by the hand and taking that hand and cutting it off and just taking the hand, because they're not coming with me. And it's so frustrating sometimes to think of, you know, we think we're doing what we need to do to get people to want to come to work and do their best work. We're missing the boat. And I think part of it is that we're trying actions that we think might satisfy them, and it's just not getting there. So, oh, I may have to go to work this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. You're not gonna, if you address it, you're not gonna. Who's gonna feel like doing whatever, right? Get here and you'll find out. Get here and you'll see why.
Yes.
It's amazing. And then you just keep going. It works for me. Like every time I just say, okay, I'm doing this, and I just dive right in. And, of course, because I wrote the book on it, I don't have fear, and I know that I can pivot, and I know that it's a learning experience, and I know it's not as scary as it is in my head.
Right.
And, so yeah.
I think that's a really important point that you just brought up there, is that even though you're saying, I'm going to do it, you're giving yourself also the grace to say, I've done it, but I want to pivot. I've done it, but I want to shift this slightly. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be or whatever. So it's not like I've done it and I have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over for the next 20 years. But I'm giving myself the opportunity, once I've done it, to still figure out, is that actually what is really meeting my needs, or do I need to do something a little different?
Right. And to your point, how would you even know to change, or what to change, or how to pivot, or do any of that unless you did it? So, you can sit on the sidelines and think about what it might be like or what it might look like, but that's just, dreaming and visioning or whatever. But until you actually do it, you have no idea of knowing whether it was a success or not. So, yay. Okay.
Yeah, that's really important. And if you do it, not trying, it doesn't guarantee success by any means, but it guarantees you a better chance of success, right? And when you do something, you may fall flat on your face and fail miserably, right? But at least you learned that doesn't work, so now I'll do this.
Yes.
And if it does work, like you said, I can pivot. You know what? It wasn't what I thought, or it's close, but I'm going to change it. So yeah, but you're never going to know unless you jump in the ring.
Yeah.
You stay stuck in that trap of trying, you're never going to get there. You'll never know. You'll be full of regret.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about this, but maybe something to go a little deeper. What role does trust, whether in oneself, others, or something bigger, play in the ability to stop trying?
Trust. You have to trust the process. You have to, okay. So we think that trying is brave. It's not brave. Trying is this half-hearted, I'm going to dip my toe in the water, right? I'll try it. I'll just see. I'll take a peek. That's not brave at all. So being brave, trusting that you're going to be okay, is doing it. Just committing, saying the words. Don't hide behind, I'm going to try, where you can have excuses, blame, no accountability. You have to be brave and trust that if you're meant to have it, you're going to have it. And if it's not meant to be, it won't be. Right. Are you the person to do it? Maybe, maybe not. But you're never going to know. So you have to trust that it's going to work out the way that it should. That's what I think about that. Yeah. So, yeah, we're so afraid. And, for the person who has a job, they're a single mom and they have a job and they want to get a new one, that person that's trying, that like hiding and have, because they have a steady paycheck, they have kids to support, they're a single mom, they have one job. They have to, that's where trust comes in. They have to trust and say, I'm not going to try to find a new job. I'm going to find a new job. And I'm going to trust that I am powerful and strong, and I'm not going to make a bad decision. I'm going to, going to go about it correctly, but I'm going to do the action necessary to find a better job for myself and my family. But you have to have a big level of trust in there, in yourself and the whole process. It's not going to happen if it's not meant to be.
If the words, phrases, and behaviors associated with the habit of trying were pervasive during a person's early years, it makes sense that they would not necessarily recognize that trying is not effective because that's all they know, right? So what are one or two ways they might shift from their try habit to a more satisfying, productive do habit? And I think in this case, what I mean by that sentence is that, if that's all you've ever heard, and those are the words that you probably even say every day because that's all you heard when you were growing up. So how do we shift from that, especially when it is so ingrained in them?
Okay, this is such a great question. We try because we're taught to try. From our parents, from our grandparents, and then their parents. So try your best, try harder, give it a try. We're taught that it's brave. We're taught that it will push the needle forward, right? But to all the people out there that have become so familiar with that and they think that it's effective because they've been taught and using it their whole lives, I ask you, would you put your money in a bank that says, we're going to try to keep track of your funds and we'll try to have them available to you when you want to withdraw? You would say, nope. Would you go to the surgeon if you had to have like an arm removed or a hand removed, as you mentioned earlier?
There you go.
Would you go to the surgeon that says, we're in the room, I always try to remember to remove the correct limb? Nope. And mortgage company or your rental company, they don't say to you, can you try to pay your rent this month? If not, you're going to be kicked out of your apartment or you're going to lose your house if you don't pay your. Right. There's no trying. There's times in our lives we already know. So you've been taught that it's effective, but we already know that it's not. And for parents out there, when your kid's driving out the driveway in their first solo drive, usually in your car, you don't wave and say, try to stop at the stop signs, try to drive carefully. It's do. So it's in there. And I always recommend to ask yourself, why am I trying here? There is a difference. There is a big difference. Why am I saying I'm going to try to lose weight instead of I'm losing weight, right? I know I'm not going to put my money in that bank that's going to try to keep track. So why am I going to do that? Why am I trying to make this dermatology appointment for my annual, it could save my life. They could find something. And the longer I try, the longer I'm not making that appointment. So I would say to them, number one, you already know that it's not effective. Even though you've been told to try harder, we already know the trying is not effective. And then ask yourself, really become familiar with this is what trying means and this is what it doesn't mean. And ask yourself, why am I choosing to try here? Because it's a total choice. So there are times that we choose to try, and there are times that we're not even given the choice to try, right? Like the airlines, for example. They don't say, try to be here at 9:30. We want to try to take off at 10. It's be here or you're not on the flight. If you don't get there, now the universe may happen and it may have a terrible storm and the flight might not take off. You can't control other things, but you can control yourself. So, we're not given the option to try, like paying our mortgage or getting to the airport. So we already know no matter what we've been taught that it's not effective, and we don't choose to use it either.
Yeah, love that. Let's see, if someone listening today feels stuck in the cycle of over efforting and burnout, what's one idea from the book that could try what from the book that they could do right now to begin shifting gears?
Gotcha.
Something small but powerful to start living the message. So the one thing. Yeah.
Oh, I have it. And it's so much fun, okay? To that person who's feeling stuck, it's called Eat the Frog. And it's amazing. So Eat the Frog is attributed to Mark Twain, believe it or not. He said, if you have to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And what that means is you pick the thing you are most resistant to doing, the thing you are putting off. It's that to-do thing that's on your list for the last 6 months. Like the thing that you're most resistant to, that you don't want to do, that you dread doing, and do that first. Just get it done. Do that thing, because that's going to start momentum in your day. That's your launching pad. Wow, I've done the hardest thing first, and guess what? Everything else I have to do today is going to be that much easier. It's amazing. It is an incredible trick. And I did a post where I'm like, I eat a frog every morning. And I do. I live by this, anything that I don't want to do, I just get it done first. And now I'm like, whoa, now I'm free to roam about the cabin and I can go do everything I need to do, because that nasty thing is done. It does create momentum. It does get you going. Eat the frog is what I would say to them. Eat the frog first thing in the morning. And then the other thing is clean out your junk drawer. Just do that one thing, because it's so symbolic of the thing you pass every day for years sometimes that, you can't close, that's got empty tape holders and scissors and tools and junk and wrappers and receipts, right? And you look at it every day and think, oh my God, it's disgusting. It takes 15 minutes to clean it. And you're going to get those hits of dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline and all those feel good. You're going to be like, wow, I struggled and suffered with that for like the last year of like looking at that thing. I couldn't ever find anything. It wasn't useful. And now it's done. That's a great example of showing you. Do it, it's done, and how amazing you feel. You're not going to try to get around to cleaning that thing out. It's done. That's clean your junk drawer, everybody. Just clean that junk drawer right now.
My junk drawer was actually my closet. And seriously, I put it out. I told Crystal at the beginning of we always end, we have the month of August off usually. And before we leave, we always talk about what we're going to work on. And one of the things I said was I was going to clean out my closet. And I think I procrastinated on that for like 3 of the 5 weeks, because I just didn't want to get in there. I didn't want to have to mess with it. I didn't want to have to look at clothes I was probably never going to wear. And I did it one day. It was just a chore. I marked off the day. I left all my blinds closed so that I was not tempted to look outside. I did everything to keep myself in that closet. And even my cat was like, he left me alone all day long so that I could do this. It was like, dang, man, come and distract me. But I got it done. And I got it done, and I got rid of things I never intended to wear again. And I have probably that much more. But I'm looking to see if I have any seasonal stuff that I don't need anymore. But now at least I'm on a roll. I go in there every other day and I kind of see if there's something else I can put in a bag, and then it goes to the donation center. It felt so good though to finally get that done after years.
Years. And don't you feel so good when you walk into your closet?
Yes.
You're like, oh, I redo my closet all the time. I am such a cleaner. I love it. Like that's not my frog. I love doing it. And then when I walk in the closet, like everything's color coordinated and the shoes are nice and the shelves are clean. Like I love doing that. So I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And now you get to buy new stuff.
I know. Well, that's got to do something to cram those closet drawers again. So we know you've worked so hard to get to this exciting week. I'm so excited for you. What's coming up next? And I don't want you to think too far beyond this book, but what are you going to be doing for the next, say, 6 to 12 months?
Oh my gosh. Well, what I'm looking forward to is having a little break. I am so tired. It's a lot of work. Look, not trying and doing and going after your dreams, you have to be careful what you ask for. It's all in the book. Like you have to really get clear on your motivation and everything, because you're going to get it. Like if you do all the action that you need to take and you make this happen, so it's exhausting. I have been learning so much. So I am looking forward to like November, December, when everybody calms down and quiets down. I can spend some time with my family and my friends and, just relax, get my brain to stop going at 24 hours a day. And celebrating. I'm really looking forward to celebrating the release of this book, which is today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're having an event at Diesel Bookstore where so many people in my life are coming. It's on tomorrow on the 24th. And some of my past bosses from the music business will be there, 3 of them, mentors of mine.
Nice.
And so I'm looking forward to resting and celebrating and really bringing this message to bigger audiences, speaking on a bigger platform.
Yes.
And then ultimately, I am going to start my next book. And I have a really great idea for that book that I think is unbelievably fun, but beyond important in today's world. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I'll tell you later.
And we're going to have you back, as you know. There's just no way we can not do that. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so much fun for you. I think I was thinking about it last night, and I thought, she's going to be on a book tour here pretty soon. Are you going to be on
Yeah,
one?
well, I'm doing radio. They're scheduling bookstores now,
Good.
a lot of podcast and radio right now. Yeah.
Well, your message is so important. It really is. I think trying is something that that's a word that is way overused. And doing is one thing that we are way underdoing. And I think it's amazing. I have no doubt this is going to go completely viral. And if I can do anything about that, I'm going to get back. I've been not going on social media that much because of bad things that happen on social media, like scams and things. So I've just started getting back on it. I think I sent you a message the first day that I was back on saying, I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. And now I just have to tackle Facebook and get back on that. I'm on Instagram right now. But I'm sending out messages everywhere. I think that we're going to get you on social media anyway, and we're on you're on our podcast, so we're on your podcast.
Oh, you guys, just being able to talk to you about it and share. Thank you so much. You've been there from the beginning.
You are delightful.
And now here we are at launch. So universe, just take it away. And I feel like a success no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I wrote this book. That's what I care about. I did what I said I was going to do. And now I will just do what I can, but, I can't imagine that it wouldn't resonate with a lot of people and help a lot of people.
No.
So
you're making a big difference in the world, a big positive difference. And so that's a big thing for us. That's part of why we're here, right?
Well, it's good information, but it's also inspiration,
Yes.
is what I would say, listening to you tell this story. I'm sure the book as well will be inspirational. And that's what we need, right? We need people to actually have hope and that belief that something can be different. And that something can be different starts with doing, taking action. You don't have to have it all figured out.
Yeah, just like you ladies are doing with your book, Hope, which is really going to be very powerful and really important. And, it's something to call attention to for everyone. John has a song called Hope. Have you ever heard it?
Oh, I know Trisha has. She's a big fan. Yeah.
Oh, it is a beautiful song. He does it a cappella. Oh. Nobody on stage with him, no piano. He just stands there raw and he sings it because that's what hope is. It's just raw. It's fantastic. I can't wait to go to a show with you guys.
Oh, we can't wait either. It's going to be fun. I used to sing that song in my car on my way to work. Oh. I love that song.
Yeah, so, we're going to look it up right now.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much again, Carla. Congratulations and best of luck on the success of the book. We know it will be.
It's going to be a smash. So
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Did you have fun?
I had so much fun.
I did too. I felt like our girlfriend was in the room. We were all drinking our favorite drinks and chatting. It was great.
It was wonderful. And we were just debriefing a little bit and we've seen so much growth in Carla, and also in clarity of her message. We've had her on 3 times over the last, it's been several years. I can't remember the first time we had her on.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah. So, that to me also gave me hope, because as we're starting to pull our hope stuff together, and we're sort of, getting used to talking about the research and that sort of thing. And then to see somebody who is a lot farther down the track, I thought, wow, with practice and with depth, and it can really make a difference. And
wow.
She's a pro.
She is. And I'm sure when she worked for the recording company, she was totally a pro there too.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't ever impress me as somebody who doesn't have her act together, right?
No.
And here we go. Kind of go back to what you said, how we've seen her really grow.
Yeah.
I remember that first podcast that we did, that first episode with her. She was very excited, about the whole prospect of not trying and doing, but it wasn't like the message was as congealed as it is now. Then the last time it was, she was on the journey, and I could tell she was learning along the way. But this one was a confident, positive, sure of her message person. And I loved it. I just loved it. I can't wait until this book launches today.
Yeah.
So if you know, or if you've listening to this podcast and you haven't gotten it yet, I know they sell it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and just about anywhere you can buy a book. So it's Stop Trying, right?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah. And it was inspiring.
Very inspiring.
Yeah. I have my one thing, and I'll probably talk about it later, my one thing that I'm going to do. Yeah. So let's keep the conversation going. If you have questions or comments about the show, you can find us on all our social media channels at lifting_leaders. We have so many exceptional podcast episodes coming up with more fantastic guests. So be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. If you know someone who would find this episode inspiring, share it with them, text them, email them, or take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram and tag us at lifting_leaders. If you'd like to know more about us, our guests, or the show, please go to our website at liftingleaderspodcast.com. You'll find our show notes there as well. If you're looking for help in developing your leaders, or would like a growth opportunity yourself, investing in yourself through leader coaching, please contact us through our website. Thank you to R.E. Chance Roberts for his technical support of our show.
Snaps.
And finally, please take 30 seconds and follow us. It helps you because you never miss an episode. And it's so funny because I've had people say, how do I know when your next episode is coming out? Well, one, it comes out every Monday morning. You can find it there. But yeah, follow us because it helps you. You'll be notified on your phone. It'll say, hey, new episode. So follow us. And it helps us also because it helps more people have access to the show. They see it. It comes up in their feed. So to follow us, go to the Lifting Leaders Podcast Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow. It's really super simple.
Yes.
So while you're there, if you'd be willing to give us a 5-star rating and review and share the episode with a friend, we'd be really grateful. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Trisha, for bringing Carla back to us again.
And we'll bring her back again and again and again because I have a feeling she's going to be on a long road of writing these amazing books.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what she's doing next. Yeah. Many thanks to you, our listeners. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Find ways every day to lift each other up. Have a fantastic week.
Take care.